Okay, what else, you people? What else? Time to go home. It's only 8:30. My God. We got to, yes, darling, here. Oh, there. Okay. Next one.
Robina.
Yes.
I have a question about attachment again.
Yes, darling.
And it's to do with attachment to outcomes when you have a child who's making wrong decisions.
Oh,
and you can
darling,
see
it must
wrong
be heartbreaking.
decisions.
I believe it. It must be heartbreaking.
So I'm quite attached to seeing better outcomes.
Of course you are.
If interested to know.
Yeah,
if you have
I understand,
anything to say
sweetheart.
about
It's
that.
a minefield. So let's look again at the simple way of presenting the Buddhist view. We've got these neurotic states of mind that are I-based and fear-based, and attachment is this big investment that we have to get what we want. It's kind of very evident when you're a mummy, isn't it? So then we look at the positive qualities, and you've got those too. One is called love, and love is a delight that this person be happy. And compassion is empathy when you see them suffer. Now, you recognize those parts of yourself, don't you? But our trouble is, especially when it's a child, that your love and your compassion, which are virtuous and appropriate and valid and other-based, are completely polluted and dragged down by your own needy attachment. So that's the minefield for a mummy and daddy. You've got to want to have them to be happy. If you can influence that in any way, how marvelous. That's compassion mixed with wisdom. But if you can't influence it, you just have to sit there and try to be happy for them and hope they make wise choices. Because it's not, once they get bigger, it's not your job to be a mummy anymore. They're not free anymore. That's when they need a mummy. But when they get bigger, they don't need you as a mummy. This is very hard when we're a mummy, because even when we're 75, our mummy still sees us as her daughter, doesn't she? We can't help it. So that's when the attachment comes. And attachment brings masses of fear when it doesn't get what it wants, especially when it's a child. And it can be very heartbreaking when you see their choices might be bad. But there's only so much we can do, and we know that. And we also know there's no benefit in shoving things down their throat, because that will literally push them away. So it's a really tough one, isn't it?
It is. So watch and wait.
What, darling?
Watch and wait.
Watch and wait, but influence how you can. If you see a window of opportunity, pop a little word in. But also, you got to know, compassion is the wish that another not suffer, and love is a wish they be happy. But that's not what makes you capable of helping them. It's wisdom to know what to say when, and that can only come the less attachment, the less neurosis you have. As you get less neurotic and less attached and less fearful, you get more content and you become more wise and will know how to help them. And then your heart will break if they make the wrong choices, but you know it's not your business. So there's only so much we can do. We all have to know that. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, it must be very hard being a parent. I can't imagine. So down here, somebody has a question here. Yes.
Hi, so actually my question was related to that.
Yes.
I just wanted to know, because I just find that, I'm 43 this year, and I thought, well, why didn't I discover this sooner? And I'm looking around the room, and there are no teenagers here. And, going in my 20s when I was in New York and doing a lot of crazy, well, why didn't I discover, or why didn't anybody tell me anything about any of this?
I understand. Well, the why is because our minds weren't ready for it. I mean, you'd have to say that,
with
wouldn't
my
you?
children now,
Yes.
are they too young and they're not ready, and
Well,
I
ask
shouldn't
them.
bother?
What do they think? What do you think about
I shouldn't bother, or should I be getting such
okay.
instructions on books to
I
read to
understand.
them? Or
This is where it's the same question. That's where you're okay. Okay, if what we're talking about in this room, call it Buddhism or not, I don't care. But call it, let's hope, reasonableness, intelligence, and ethics and virtue. I mean, surely this is universal. I think a good communist, a good Muslim, a good Buddhist would all talk in the same way, and they'd be respecting each other. Wouldn't you agree? Because morality is morality is morality. So forget the view of karma, maybe. Forget the view of whether there's a creator. But if we're looking at the fundamental application of these ideas, the bottom line is, don't kill, don't lie, don't harm, don't steal. Work on your mind and be compassionate to others. Would you agree with that first, in general? So then, of course, your job as a parent is to show the example of that to your children, and then, according to your wisdom, when you see their minds, to tell them what you think their minds are ready for. I mean, you can't shove it down their throats, but if some children show interest in this and interest in that, So that's up to you to be observing their minds like a hawk and feeding them, giving them what is useful for their mind to lead them in a valid direction of being moral and kind and seeing their minds and knowing they have potential.
So is there like a Buddhism 101 or Buddhism for dummies? Because I can barely grasp all this.
There's lots of Westerners are doing lots of courses and writing lots of books like this. Of course they are, But that's for you to pursue, darling. You look out there, you'll find your own way, and then you find your way, you'll help them. That's your job as a mummy, isn't it? I admire anybody who's a parent, I can't tell you. I always say if I had a husband and children, they'd be dead. So, Tony, he looks shocked. Well, luckily when I was, it's because you see, when I first went to Mass, when I was little, I just knew it was my job. I announced I'm going to be a priest. It was just so clear to me, crystal clear, And then when people would say what they're going to do when they got older, they said they're going to get married. I wouldn't say anything, but I'd think, why would you want to live in one house and sleep in one bed with one person? I'd be horrified, I wanted pleasure. Believe me, when I was a hippie, I was a serious hippie. I wanted pleasure, but I never thought of it in terms of moving in with one person. I'd rather go to prison. I'd hyperventilate when I thought about it, I wanted freedom more than anything, internal and external. That's my main thing, That could be called selfishness, but then there you go. Okay, blah, blah. Shut up, Robina. Who else has something to say?
Just to let you know,
What?
see Nick over there later. He's got some great kids' books.
There you go. There might be something. So, okay. What an interesting group. My God. Yes.
Hello, Robina.
Hello, Petal.
I have another parenting question.
Yeah.
Child makes a bad decision, yes, and you learn to accept that. What about the children of the child?
What about them?
How
do you mean?
How involved should
It's
we
the same
be?
discussion, darling. Listen to me. Compassion is the empathy with the suffering of others. You've got to have that. But you've got to, as the Dalai Lama says, compassion's not enough, baby. You've got to have wisdom. Your compassion has to be informed by intelligence and your ability to see what's going on and make wise decisions. Now, if you're driven by attachment and neediness and fear and panic, you'll be a disaster. It's the same question every time, whether you're helping a homeless person or your child. It's the same question. You've got to have compassion and empathy, and you've got to have wisdom that is clarity that sees how to help them. And that could be one thing for one person and nothing for the next. Because what a person has to hear is what they're able to hear. A person has to be open to what you're going to do for them. We can't just stick our noses in someone else's business and shove our help down their throat. It's very rude.
I agree.
You've got to have the wisdom to know. That's the answer. And how do you get wisdom? By giving up your own rubbish. Are you hearing me?
I am. Yeah, it's a difficult one.
What is difficult?
I'll elaborate. I have an adopted daughter who has taken a very bad path in life and has 4 children, 3 of whom are with their paternal grandparents. And there's another on the way.
And?
I'm just not quite sure what to do about that child.
What, sweetheart?
She's going to have a baby.
Yes.
In 3 weeks' time. I found out yesterday.
Yes. And what's wrong with her having a baby?
She can't look after herself.
What happens to the other 3 children?
They're with their paternal grandparents.
So what will happen to this baby?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm asking you.
Yes, what will happen to this baby?
I'm asking you, though, what will happen to the baby? It's a literal question.
It is. It's a big
So
question.
whose job is it to take care of the baby?
Yes. Whose job?
I'm asking you.
I don't know whose job it is.
Well, you better start finding out what your rights are. Don't just ask me. Go to the hospital, go to the law, and see what rights you have if you think she's not capable and if you think you have any ability to change the situation, darling. Don't just sit there hopeless. There must be laws that cover things like this. There must be something that gives you rights maybe to intervene if you think it's appropriate. Sweetheart.
Yeah.
Have you done any of that?
Yes.
So what is the conclusion?
The conclusion most likely is this child will be sent home with her, probably with the ice-addicted father. And despite all our best efforts, the child may or may not stay in that situation until family and community services decide.
Okay, well,
Is
is it out of your hands?
The last child was 6 when that happened.
Is it out of your hands? Have you any power? Do you have any power to influence it?
Probably not.
What do you mean you're not sure?
No, I don't know.
Well, then you should find out, shouldn't you? I mean, honey. But also you have to remember that sometimes you can't help.
Yeah.
I'm not saying be hopeless. I'm not saying give up. But don't say you don't know. Maybe you as a grandmother have some rights. I don't know. You should find out, honey, before you say. Don't give up. If you think it's valid and appropriate that you intervene. If there might be some ability to do that.
Yeah.
So why don't you pursue that? If you think that's most beneficial. But do you want to have a baby?
No.
Well, then you can't have it both ways.
I
Okay,
think
then.
that's the horns of my dilemma. I do not want to raise
Well, then you just
her
be
child.
quiet and mind your own business and hope the baby's okay. You can't moan and complain if you don't plan to do something about it. Are you really hearing my point?
Yes, I am.
Well, then you stop moaning about it. I'm not being rude to you, darling. I promise I'm not. What's the point of just chewing a bone like a dog and you can't do anything about it yourself? If you're not prepared to do something about it, mind your own business and hope maybe it works out. You can't save everybody. It's not being cynical. It's practical. It's real. And if you're not prepared to do something yourself, you can't have it both ways. So look at your own neediness and attachment to have everything lovely. That's why you're suffering, honey.
Yeah.
You don't suffer because of compassion. Believe me. Do you hear me?
I believe you, and
Well, then,
I agree
honey,
with you.
Relax and give it a break and maybe respect your daughter. And you never know, this might be the one she'll look after. So you never know. So give her some respect. Don't think it's the end of the world. Maybe she'll give up ice. Okay, time to go home. Is it time to go home? We've got to do a signing. Me and Yantra will sign CDs if you want to buy them. You've got to buy them first before we sign them, I think. But just as, if you want to buy one, you're very welcome. We'll sign them. We promise. I promise. So I'm going to sing a prayer now and we're going to go home. Did you get your money's worth? I know. Okay. Well, this is sort of the last, for tomorrow. This is the last event. I'll just give you some background. Lynn very kindly runs Bodhi Events, and she put lots of money and lots of things and lots of energy into this tour, but it didn't go as well as they thought. I just didn't sell the tickets. I'm sorry, so she lost lots of money. I want to tell that. They did. So I just want to thank her for her kindness, and I'm sorry I didn't sell all the tickets. So I have to, whatever. But anyway. But she's very kind, and she wanted to sort of give me an opportunity to go to non-Buddhist places, to meet non-Buddhists instead of going to the Buddhist centres. So I don't know if that helped or not. I have no idea. But I'm very grateful, and we might do another one next year, but we'll see what happens. All right? I don't know. I had to say that. Lynn, she's worked very hard, and all her team have worked so hard. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Yes, darling? Well, it's just more of the same and interspersed with some meditations.
That's not true, actually. She goes into a lot more detail, and it's. If anybody does wish to come tomorrow, you can come just for the day. But
you're very welcome. She's letting you come in. You're very welcome.
It's a beautiful. It's been a.
It'll be more of the same, but it'll be more in depth about karma.
In depth.
More
That's right.
in
Yeah,
depth.
tomorrow.
More detail. Okay. Okay. Thank you, people. So listen, just thinking, here we've been 2 hours, whatever. The Buddha would say, as many moments as there have been is as many seeds we have planted. Nothing goes astray. Everything gets stored in our mind. So we think if there's been any information here, even 1% of it, even a half, that could be useful, wow, I'm so happy, But the bottom line for me is, at least if you go away thinking, maybe my mind plays a role in my life, and guess what, maybe I can change it, and maybe that's the source of my happiness and the source of my ceasing of suffering. And then that gives me the chance to be a benefit to others. How amazing. And to not give up. It's my main piece of advice. Do not ever give up. Okay. Yes, sweetheart. So, tell us again, darling. You're just a kid.
I'm just a kid, so
Yes.
I don't know that as much as most of the people here.
Yes.
So I've just learned about the Buddha and all of those things. But,
Yes.
is like the Buddha someone that you believe in, or is it someone like a human?
He was a human being, sweetheart, a couple of thousand years ago in India, and all the words I'm saying here are coming from his own observation about the human mind and what we're capable of. It's coming from that person, yes. This person who lived in India, yes. All right?
Thank you.
Good, sweetheart. Thank you very much. And he says that we've all got amazing qualities. We all can become so wise and so kind and so intelligent and so loving. He says every one of us has that potential. What do you think? Do you agree with him? Good, darling. Well done. What's your name? What? Charlie. I'm happy to meet you, Charlie. And who's this? Chen Chen. Do you have something to say, Chen Chen? Good, darling. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, sweetheart. All right, darling, I'm going to sing my little prayer that is dedication, we call it. That all these seeds we planted, may we nourish them from this moment forward with our efforts to become better human beings, to become our own marvelous human being for our sake and the sake of others. And then may compassion grow and grow is the second little prayer. In Tibet. Kewaji nyu dudak lama sange drub yurne drowa chi kyang malupa dei sala Gopashok Jang chob sem chog rinpoche ma ke panam ke gyuchig ke panyam pa me payang gong ne gong du pelbashok. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Robina, once again. Thank you so much. And thank you for coming here.